You have always been a faithful Father. Love has drawn me in. As your child, so I'm trusting you with all of my desires, all of my desires. I'm bowing to your sovereignty. I'm trusting you are guiding me. And when my failing flesh is tempting me to stray, oh, teach me to obey.
Wow, guys, that song was so beautiful. That song from your last project, Upper Room Sessions, has been one that the local church has really embraced. Can you tell us how you're seeing the local church use your song?
Yeah, well, Robbie and I really love when we get the chance to hear about or see people using the song. It's just a delight for us because that's why we write the songs. And some of the feedback that we've gotten is that churches really like using this song in particular as a response song. It can be used, obviously, in a worship set towards the beginning of a church service. But this one in particular has been a really nice response song, especially for, would you say, sermon series on obedience or just hearing God's voice, steps of faith.
Faith, response.
Yeah.
Moments,
so that's just been awesome, getting messages from different pastors thanking us for the song or worship leaders. And But one of my favorites, I just have to say, Robbie took me up to the studio a few weeks ago, and he said, okay, before we get to work for the day, I just have a little surprise for you. And so he pulled up some YouTube covers of people doing this song around the world, and I was in tears by the end because one of my favorites was these two little girls doing this song for their school in India, for their school chapel. And it was beautiful. They were playing the guitar and singing it together and leading a bunch of Indian kids in worship. Wow. And that just melted my heart. And then another favorite was actually a church in Chile that I hope watches this at some point, actually translated our song, a beautiful translation, into Spanish and did their own version for their local church.
Amazing.
So we've just been really blessed by how churches have really
Maybe you'll record it in Spanish one day.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes. See.
Okay. And then can you tell us how you wrote this song? Tell us the story behind how you wrote it.
Yeah, so back in 2015, we did a songwriting retreat called Kingdom Songs, and it was with our good friend Wisdom Moon. And that was before we lived in Nashville, and it was actually on that trip when we were out and when we wrote this song, when God spoke to us about moving to Nashville. And so a really crucial time in our lives. And actually, how this retreat worked is there was different speakers that shared on songwriting, and then you got to go write your own songs. And one of the challenges that was put out from Michael Farron, one of our friends, is he's like, hey, I've never heard a good song on obedience. If you can write a song that moves me on obedience, I'll buy you a steak dinner. So we have not received a steak dinner yet. So
Michael Farron?
Yes, there's an IOU out. And myself and Sean Hill and Aaron Calhoun, we sat on the back porch of a beautiful Tennessee day, and there were lawnmowers and mosquitoes, and we got in the zone and we said, let's do this. And I think it was Aaron that had the line, "Teach me to obey." And it's like, wow, that is such a profound thought, when you think about the Great Commission, and that's what we're supposed to be doing is teaching people to obey. But that also includes us, to be instructing our own hearts and our own wills to be aligned with the Lord's. And it's such a challenge. I think that we never outgrow the challenge of obedience. Yeah. And it's like so many times as a parent, you're like, man, why don't you just, and then you're like, wait a second. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm in that same boat with the Lord, learning how to obey. And so it's been amazing just to see how people have gotten to enter into that place of surrender and of obedience and just yielding our lives mm-hmm. to the Lord and what He wants to do. And that's our hope, that people will continue to use this version to be able to be accessible in their local church context.
Absolutely. And there's a line in the song where you say, when my time of testing comes, so we will all be faced with it. Yeah. So it's this song, it just reminds you of, you have to do the work every day. You have to be constantly in communion with God so that you are learning from the Lord. So teach me to obey. It's just such a powerful phrase. Yeah. Thank you so much.
And I think the reason we wanted to do the song, because originally I thought Erin Calhoun should release the song because I just think her voice is gorgeous. And I thought, oh man, she should record that because I want to listen to this song. Mm-hmm. And then we were getting ready to do upper room sessions. And so Robbie said, hey, why don't we consider this one? And I just thought, oh man, this song captures our heart so much, because I just think of obedience as like a precursor, one of the precursors of holiness and walking in holiness and walking in communion with the Lord. We can't do that without being obedient. And sometimes we think of obedience as being like this hard, dry, rigid, legalistic sort of thing in our relationship with the Lord, but it so isn't. It's about us seeing God's heart for us and saying yes to that and stepping into that. And so I think maybe that's why there aren't that many songs about obedience, because it doesn't feel like this beautiful thing to be obedient, but it really is. And we wanted to take beauty and encapsulate that concept of obedience with beauty and, just offer this as a gift to ourselves and to the church and say it is beautiful to be obedient, and it is the thing that causes our life to walk in that closeness with the Lord and communion with Him.
That's great. Thank you. So the way you played the song right now is more of a stripped down version. Would you mind kind of walking us through how a church could do this song this way?
Yeah, absolutely. So the original recording that we did on Upper Room Sessions had a little bit more of a complicated guitar part. And sometimes I mess up on it. And I was like, I want to make sure that it's something that like my, 12, 13-year-old self, like just learning like some basic chords would be able to just worship and have that song and not struggle just like, I don't know what they're doing. What's an A major 7th over C sharp? Like just to be able to like play the song. And so for this recording, we had our friend Zach play with the capo on the 7th fret. And then I played with the capo on the 2nd fret, and I did versions like these parts right here, like. So chords that are in like the key of C with the capo on the 2nd fret, and then Zach did capo 7 and did chords with the G form. So like. So those sort of chords right there, and then really the only chords that you need to know for this is E minor 7, like D sus, D, C or C2, and G, and that'll get you the whole song. And we'll make sure that chord charts are accessible if you go like in the description on YouTube, that you can get access to that.
So would you say a beginner could maybe lead this?
These are some of the first chords that you learn when you play guitar, and so piece of cake.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And Mackenzie, would you mind showing us maybe some of the riffs you've been playing on the piano so that, somebody could lead worship and use some of the things you did?
Yes, absolutely. So the intro is, we're in the key of D, so it starts with G, B minor, A, and it does that twice, G, B minor, A. And the riff I'm doing starts on the B note, walks up to the C sharp, D, A, then F sharp, and then it does it again, B, C sharp, D, F sharp, E. So with those chords, it sounds like this. That's the intro, and the bridge is the only other place where there's a little bit of piano riff going on, and it's actually, the bridge chords are B minor, A, G, and then back up to A, and the riff on top of those chords is F sharp, G, F sharp, E, D, and then it does that again. Up to the E, so together it's.
It's great. So simple, so beautiful. Thank you, Mackenzie, for simplifying that. It sounds so beautiful, yet you explained it in a really simple way, so thank you. And where can we find the chords, or where can somebody look up a chart so that they can play it themselves?
Yeah, you can go, if you're watching this on YouTube, in the description we'll have links to the stems, also the chords and lyrics and all that, or you can go to briagene.com and find it there.
Okay, there's links to how to play.
Yeah.
Okay.
There'll be like a chord chart, and then stems for people that don't know that terminology. That's basically each of the tracks from this, so you can listen. And I know when I was first learning guitar, I would see maybe a tab online, and I would try to listen. I'm like, wait, what note are they playing? But when you hear the track by itself, sometimes it's easier to be able to follow along.
Well, great. Thank you so much. I hope that more people will be encouraged to play this song.